Hey everyone, welcome back to Double Sleeved. Today we're commencing our deck ideas segment for the upcoming Dragon Ball set, Realm of the Gods. And starting off, we're going to be going through the Universe 7 Son Goku deck. Kicking things off, we've got the leader, which has a nifty permanent of you can't send cards from your drop area to your warp. So we're going to be eliminating all Overwhelm from this deck. Also cards like Son Goku Saiyan Instincts and also the championship card, the Bardock, that worked similar. So we're not going to be able to send any cards from the drop area to the warp with any effect, which does kind of hurt this deck in the aggressive sense. Obviously not having that Overwhelm available is extra swings for free without having energy, but you'll find that this deck is quite aggressive without it. Auto, when this card attacks, draw one card, pretty standard. Activate main once per turn. Burst 3, draw one card, then choose one card in your hand and discard it. And then we have the Awaken, when your life is at 4 or less, or there are 7 or more Universe 7 cards in the drop area. You may draw one card, switch one of your energy to active mode, and flip this card over. We're going to see that this deck relies a lot on the drop area, and especially having that Universe 7 tag. So we're going to be manipulating those cards, trying to get them into the drop area so that we can get out our cards for their effects. On the Awaken side, same permanent, activate main once per turn, draw one card, then place up to 3 cards from the top of your deck in your drop area, and then activate main sparking 20, add up to 1 mono red Universe 7 card from your drop area to your hand, then negate this skill from the game. Negate this skill for the game. So we're not drawing on attack, we're just going to draw off that activate main. We don't have to put any cards from deck to drop area if we don't want to, which is good. So if there's any ability that stops us from being able to attack, floodgates, things like that, if our leader gets tapped, we're still going to be able to get that draw. And then we've got that once-off effect. If we do mill something that we need, we've got the ability to pick it up. It just has that sparking 20. Moving into the deck, starting off with the big boss monster for the deck, we've got Son Goku Ultra Mastery, which is an 8 cost, 6 specified red, but we do have a way to get this out cheaper. A lot of keyword skills on this one: deflect, double strike, dual attack. We also have an auto that's once per turn. You do need sparking 20. When this card attacks, your opponent reveals their hand. Choose up to 1 card with an energy cost of 7 or less from it and discard it. A really strong effect, being able to look at your opponent's hand, being able to rip something out of it, some really good skills there. They do have the opportunity to negate first, but after that, we'll be able to look at their hand and take whatever we want out of it. It doesn't have to be a battle card, it can be any card as long as it's 7 or less. And then we've got the activate main for 4 red energy. If there are 10 or more Universe 7 cards in your drop area, play this card from your hand. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 35,000 power for the turn, and you can't play non-red battle cards for the turn. Another really strong effect, minus 35,000 wipe out majority of the cards in this game outside of secret rares. So a pretty big board wipe there. And then we've got some good pressure and, being able to look at your opponent's hand, really strong. Next, we've got Son Goku Sign of Mastery. This one's a counterplay. Limit 1, play this card. We've got a permanent with Sparking 7 attached. If your leader is a mono red Son Goku card, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2, making it a 1 cost. And then auto, if your leader is a Universe 7 card, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 15,000 power for the turn. Additionally, if this skill reduces the chosen card's power to 0 or less, draw 1 card. A really good effect. We've got the auto triggering, so we can counterplay on any card coming in, and then the auto will be able to trigger. So a bit different to the Yamcha, which can only hit certain things at certain timings, and then also having that option to be able to draw. And it's 19k as well, so it can be quite difficult to get rid of. Your opponent's going to have to commit cards if they want to swing with their leader or majority of the unisons and things like that. Really good card. Then we've got Android 17 for the Universe of Survival, another SR that's coming out in this set. Double strike with Sparking 7 attached. So if you have 7 or more cards in the drop area, you then get the double strike. Auto, when this card attacks, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 1 mono red Universe 7 card among them to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Then we've got the activate main, limit 1 for 1 red. If your leader card is a red Universe 7 card and there are 5 or more Universe 7 cards in the drop area, play this card from your hand. A lot of the cards that we have for this deck do rely on 5, 7, 10 Universe 7 cards being in the drop. So we do want to run a large amount of them, and also be able to manipulate them, with our leader's effect and things like that, where we do have the option to discard a card. You want to be getting that Universe 7 card in there, be able to awaken, be able to play these cards. But this card specifically, being able to attack and then look at top 3 and add a mono red Universe 7 is really strong. We've got a lot of different mono red Universe 7 cards that we do need for this deck. So being able to grab one of them is really good. And then having that double strike attached as well to 15k. So quite strong to remove unisons. Then we've got Golden Freezer for the Universe's Survival, 4 cost, another 19k. This one's dual attack, sparking 7. So if we've got 7 cards, we'll gain that dual attack. Auto, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 15,000 power for the turn. And then the activate main limit 1. If your leader is a red mono U7 Son Goku, 5 or more Universe 7 cards in the drop, we get to play this card for 1. Really strong as well. We've seen with Basil in yellow just how much pressure a 19k dual attack can be. So I really do like the way that this card works for red, and then being able to minus 15,000 on play as well is, really strong. Then we've got SSB Vegeta for the Universe's Survival. This one's a 4 cost, 2 specified red, deflect critical. This one, auto, when this card is played, draw 1 card, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and they get minus 15,000 power for the turn. And then activate main sparking 10 for 2 generic energy. If your leader is a monocolor Universe 7 card, play this card from your hand. So this definitely can fit into a large amount of decks, but it's a really good one for this deck too, being able to get that critical pressure. That minus 15 ignoring barrier is really strong as well. But what I like about it is you get to draw that 1 card. A lot of the cards in this deck have that option to draw 1 and often replace themselves, like we saw with the counterplay Goku. So you are maintaining that hand size and being able to put pressure on your opponent as well, which is really good. Then we have the secret rare for the deck. There's a couple of different options that you can use. The Son Goku and Freeze is a good option. Also the SS4 Broly, being able to play off that 8 cost Goku that we went over at the beginning. I've decided to add the new secret rare that's coming out for this set, just so that it's a bit more fitting to this deck, being Realm of the Gods. But yeah, incredible artwork, incredible effects, really hyped for this card. We haven't seen the God rare just yet, but I am hoping that this is the card that they choose to give it that treatment. I think Vegeta fans out there will be more than happy to have the first God rare for our card game be a Vegeta card. But going over this card's effects, we've got dual attack sparking 25. So if you have 25 cards in the drop area, you then gain that dual attack. We also have the ultimate tag as always, deflect and triple strike. We're seeing a lot of secret rares that didn't have deflect recently, but had counterplay effects and things like that would trigger regardless of whether it was bounced back by Trunks. But I do like that they've given this one deflect. You don't want to be paying 4 and have it bounced back to hand, so it's going to hit the field, which is good. How we play it is through the activate main, 4 red energy. Play this card from your hand, and you may have one of your opponent's leader cards get minus 5,000 power for the turn. And then the activate main, remove this card from the game. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards and unison cards ignoring barrier. Place them in the owner's drop area. Then place 1 card from your opponent's life in their drop area. Another sensational effect, a complete board wipe of battle cards and unisons, ignoring barrier. Not too many cards that can do that big of a board wipe, so really strong. When we're being able to go through all of this card's effects in a turn, if you've got 2 triple strike swings, and then if that doesn't do the damage, you can then remove this card, clear the board, and deal 1 burn damage. I really like this card. I really hope that it gets that God rare. Super combo for the deck, we've got Frieza, Universe 7 combination, auto sparking 5 if your leader card is red. When this card is using a combo, draw 1. So regardless of how much life you have, as long as you've got 5 or more cards in the drop area, which we're going to get to quite easily, you're able to get that draw 1. I believe there's also a Goku that has a similar effect. So either or, we're able to use either super combo, but given this one's coming out in Realm of the Gods, decided to go with this one. Another popular Universe 7 card that we've seen in the past, SSB Kaioken Son Goku, Concentrated Destruction. Another board wipe card that we've seen, Deflect. This is a 3 cost, sorry. Deflect, auto, when you play this card, From your hand, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with 20,000 power or less and KO them. So we're not negging power here, we're just KOing 20 or less. And then activate main for 2 red. If your leader card is red and you place this card in the drop area from your hand, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 25,000 power for the turn. We're seeing a lot of barrier cards start to make their way back into this game. We've seen, the Lord Slug, Super Namekian kind of be a bit of a nuisance. So being able to have this card available just to get through barrier minus 25,000 is really strong. So definitely an inclusion. Another U7 tag as well for our effects. Unison for the deck, we have Piccolo Jr., Descendant of the King, a 2 specified red unison. It's got an auto. When your opponent activates a counter skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 15,000 power or less and KO it. You'll notice that this is not once per turn, pending the upcoming ban list, which we may see an errata for this card. They may choose to leave it as it is, but right now it is quite strong. +1, activate main, draw 1 card. Great effect, one of the first to do it. -2, activate main, choose up to one of your red battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards with power less than or equal to the chosen card and KO them. This card gains Rejuvenate once per turn. Remove 2 markers from this card for the turn. Yeah, another great effect. We're generally going to be using that +1 and keeping it on field for the auto, but having that option there to rejuvenate and gain the extra life is really strong. Or even board clear. We've got a lot of 19Ks in this deck that are 3 or less, so we can remove a bunch of different 15Ks from the field. Really good. Then we have Son Goku, Divine Presence, an SR that we saw come out of Cross Spirits. Deflect, dual attack, permanent. This card can't be removed from your battle area by skills during your turn. Auto once per turn. When this card attacks, add up to 1 red skillless battle card from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. This card gets +5,000 power for the turn. And then we have the activate battle for 2 red energy. If you have 3 or more energy and you have 2 or more red battle cards in your combo area, play this card from your hand, then choose up to one of your mono red cards and it gets +5,000 power for the turn. So that's how we're going to be playing this card. We've got pretty much all red cards in this deck, minus 1 card, I believe, and a couple of extra cards. So, we're going to have a bunch of different options to combo with. They're pretty much all 5k, minus, I think 1 or 2 cards that are 1 cost 10k combos. So pretty much everything's available to be comboed with to get this card out. It's really strong, being able to get that +5 on any card when it gets played. Whether you play it offensively or defensively, but then also giving it that +5 when it attacks. We don't have any red skills in the deck, so we're not going to be able to search one out. We can look through the deck if we want to, but we're not going to be grabbing a skillless. But yeah, not being able to remove this card on your turn is really good. It means that you can confidently go in with this card into your leader and not have to worry about anything mid-battle and things like that removing it. It's got deflect. It's really good against blue. Being able to dual attack, being able to pressure that Boo Unison without worry of it being bottom decked. Furthering Destruction Champa, pretty standard when you combo with this card. Choose one of your attacking cards, it gains double strike. You can use the Supreme Kai if you prefer, and then that way have the option whether you want to give it double strike or not. I just prefer the Champa because I have it in Judge. Broly, Crown of Retribution, another great red card. This was a promo, I believe, around set 8, so a little bit more difficult to get your hands on back then, but it was reprinted in the anniversary box 2 years ago, I believe, so there are a couple around. Auto, if your leader card is red, when you play this card from your hand, if your opponent has 2 or more energy in active mode, your opponent reveals their hand and you choose up to 1 battle card with 20,000 power or less and place it in your opponent's drop area. Yeah, another really good effect. Being able to look at your opponent's hand is crucial at points of the game. Being able to see, what you can expect from the next turn, whether you can kill them that turn, things like that. Just having a whole lot more knowledge over your opponent can really put you in an advantageous position. And it only costs 1, so yeah, really strong card. King Vegeta, Imposing Presence, card we saw come out of Supreme Rivalry, so a couple of sets ago now. Counter attack, if your leader is a mono red Saiyan card, you may choose the attacking card, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 10,000 power for the turn. Your opponent can't attack with cards for the turn unless they give the attacking card minus 5,000 power for the turn each time. You can't activate copies of this card from your hand for the turn. Permanent, if your life is at 3 or less, sorry, you can't activate this card. You can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by choosing one card in your hand and discarding it. So being able to fuel that drop area again if you've got the three life or less, and you can do it without having any energy available. But yeah, not many cards can use this. You're locked to a mono red Saiyan card, but it has an effect that lasts for the entire turn, which is really good. That 5k power can be, one more card that you get to keep in hand, but it makes your opponent question whether they're able to go in with each attack, getting that minus 5,000 power. And it's good because it affects everything as well. It's not just battle cards. Leader, Unison, battle cards all get affected. The one of King Piccolo, the new ruler. This card is limited to 1 per deck, but too good not to run. Double strike permanent. If your leader is red, this card gets plus 5,000 power and your opponent can't activate blocker skills in response to this card's attack. Activate main. If you have a red Unison in play with 3 or more markers on it, play this card from your hand, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. And then the auto at the end of the turn, send this card to the owner's warp. So we're not sending it from drop area to warp, so it does work in this deck. But yeah, being able to get that free 20k double strike essentially does work like an overwhelm. Not, where you don't have to spend any energy on it. And at the end of the turn, it goes to the warp. Testing the opposition, a really good negate. Counterattack, if your leader is mono red, negate the attack, then play 1 Cyberman token. All the tokens with these negates are slightly different. Cyberman tokens have 5,000 power, 0 combo cost, and 5,000 combo power. That token gains blocker for the turn. So you can play this for 2 red energy, or you can activate the permanent. If your life is at 5 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding 1 card from your life to your hand instead of paying its energy cost. Really good if your opponent's going in with something double strike, triple strike, critical. You can activate this for free and then have that blocker available as well. If you decide not to block with it, then you've also got the 5,000 power combo. Son Gohan, Ultimate Essence, another card we saw come out of Cross Spirit. This is a 1-cost searcher. When this card is played, look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 red Universe 7 card with an energy cost of 4 or less, or 1 red Unison with a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. It also has a auto limit 1 if your leader is red. When you use a mono red skillless battle card in a combo, draw 1. That's probably more designed for the Universe 7 Son Gohan deck, as we're not running any mono red skillless battle cards. You could add them into this deck. There are some Universe 7 red skillless cards that can have a bit of synergy with Divine Presence and this card, but I haven't included any. But being able to search the top 5, we have so many different Universe 7 cards available, and the Unison, we're bound to hit 1, so we can search out what we need. Yamcha Merciless Barrage, this is red's kind of counterplay with the Unison, so counterplay, you can't activate counterplay skills on other cards for the turn. Choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards. They get minus 15,000 power for the turn, then play this card. And the permanent, if you have a red Unison card with 2 or more markers, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost, getting that free 15k on board, minus 15,000 power, 2 battle cards, always good. Which kind of does lead into that next card as well, SS3 Goku One Hit Wonder. Auto, when your opponent's battle card's power is decreased, if SS3's Goku One Hit Wonder isn't in play in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand. It does have an activate battle attached to it, but that does revolve around sending it from drop area to warp, which we can't do. So we're going to skip over that one. But I mainly included this card, or a couple of copies of this card, because we do have a lot of battle cards that decrease power. So being able to get that free 15k is pretty good as well. We've got the Yamcha that can minus 15. The Frieza, when it gets played, we get that minus 15. We've got the Goku as well. I believe the Vegeta gets the minus 15,000 power. If we do pay the 2 energy for Kaioken Goku, we're able to play this card. So a couple of different effects that get it out. If we've got this card in hand, minus something, another 15k attacker. And the last card that I've got in here is Koitokai, Mechanical Courage, the only black card for this deck. The reason I've included this is because we're sending a lot of cards from the deck to the drop area. Having this card, this is one of the best cards that can work from the drop area at the moment. Again, pending the ban list, whether we see anything change for this card, because it is quite strong. But yeah, definitely a card you want in the drop area. The effect is activate main for 1 generic energy. Remove this card from your drop area from the game. So we're not sending it from drop area to warp, we're removing it from game. Then choose up to 2 cards in your hand and place them at the bottom of your deck in any order. Draw cards equal to the number of cards you placed at the bottom of your deck with this skill. Then for the turn, if your opponent plays a battle card with 20,000 power or less, they choose 2 cards from their hand and send them to the warp. Really strong. It doesn't matter how your opponent plays the card, whether it's counter skill, counter attack, activate main, battle, anything. If it's 20,000 power or less, they need to warp 2 cards. We're seeing a lot of floodgates for every color come out now. A lot of these free negates that play blockers and things like that. So being able to get couple of copies of this card into the drop area quite easily and then activate it whenever you feel it's needed. I think it's a really good effect. But yeah, that's pretty much the Universe 7 Son Goku deck, one that I'm excited to play myself. I think the cards look really good. A lot of great artworks on them as well. So yeah, test it out. Let me know how you go. Add it, put it into the comments. You know, if you think there's anything else that you want to add into this deck or take out. But other than that, if you enjoy the video, leave a like, leave a comment, be sure to subscribe to Double Sleeves, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for that.